Hello everyone, welcome back to Tea on the Couch. If you're new to my channel, you are very welcome. Please consider supporting me by pressing that subscribe button. And continuing my series on women in politics, today I have Councillor Ayo Sokale with me. You are very welcome.
Thank you for having me, Dee. I'm on the couch.
You are on the couch, my famous couch.
I know, I'm famous.
And
I made it.
I know that Nigerian names usually have special meanings.
Yes.
What does Ayo mean?
It means joy. I mean,
oh, does it?
Couldn't you tell? How dare you?
I know, how could I ask such a question? And may I just say, it is an absolute joy to have you on the Couch.
Thank you, Dee.
And can you tell me a little bit about yourself? Like, what are your hobbies, your passions, your dreams?
Oh, that's a big question. So, I'm Ayo. I'm a counsellor.
Yeah.
I love dancing, singing, acting, performing, reading, walking. I love walking. Lockdown, walk every day.
Yeah.
Amazing.
Yeah.
Amazing.
Well, we couldn't do much. We couldn't do much else, could we? We couldn't do much else, could we?
But I mean,
so we're allowed that 1 hour for
what
walk in the
else
park.
do you need? That walk in the park is so amazing. Obviously, I live in Caversham. I'm council for Caversham, and there's just so many beautiful parks. I'm not just repping Caversham, but it's a beautiful place.
You're not biased in any way. I have been to Caversham a few times, and yeah,
so I
do
enjoy
agree.
that.
It is beautiful. Yeah.
So that's me. Professionally, I'm a civil engineer. I'm a chartered civil engineer. I should have had.
Yes. You're actually taking away all my questions.
Oh, I'm sorry. Gee, I'll back up right now. I get carried away.
So we didn't hear that bit about her being as a chartered civil engineer. And you were a former beauty queen.
Yeah.
How did that come about? Please do tell.
I don't even know now. I guess I've always been really involved in community work and just wanting to be more involved. And pageants were a really great platform to do that and to expand my reach.
Okay.
So
And where was that?
I did pageants everywhere a bit.
Okay.
I did pageants in my hometown, which is Eastbourne in Sussex. And then I did pageants when I went to university in Plymouth. I was Miss Plymouth Galaxy.
Oh, wow. Check you out.
So I held a couple of different titles, couple of titles, I think 3 to 4 titles over the time that I did pageants, and it was just great because I was really able to get involved in my community, help with charities, and just do the things that really light me up inside.
Yeah.
So brilliant time.
Perfect.
In my soul.
Right. Do you have sisters, brothers?
I have 2 sisters. I'm the middle kid. You couldn't tell.
Yes.
I know.
Middle
kid syndrome.
Strange. Yeah.
It was weird. A little bit out there.
Yeah, as we can tell.
I'll take it.
Hash browns or black pudding?
Oh, hash browns. I think that was quite easy
hash browns.
actually.
Me too.
I love
Definitely.
potatoes.
Hash browns all the way.
Stodge.
Yeah. Okay, so now back to your day job.
Yes.
You're a chartered civil engineer.
Yes.
Right. And where do you work? In Reading?
I work in Reading. I work for the Environment Agency.
Okay.
So I'm a project manager and BIM lead. So I deliver projects in flood and coastal risk management and water resources. And I'm also BIM lead. So that's building information modelling. And that's the next level, I guess, about how we better understand our assets and we model them digitally. So for every asset we have in real life, we have one digitally in this virtual world. Really
Really little thing.
It's really cool. I'm gonna nerd out.
I've always said there must be something in the egusi soup.
Oh, it's pumpkin seeds, isn't it?
Yeah.
Pumpkin seeds are actually really good for you. Just some
Honestly.
Nigerians, it's just what we do.
I know, you're just everywhere. You're just excelling in, just everywhere.
Thank my mum.
But congratulations.
Thank you.
Yeah. And last year you campaigned to become one of the councillors.
Yeah.
Obviously you won.
Yeah.
And you unseated, I think, a long-serving Conservative councillor.
So that was the first time in 17 years Labour had all 3 seats in Caversham.
Yeah.
17 years!
That must have been a massive boost.
It was amazing, to be fair.
Yeah.
I mean, I didn't just campaign last year, I campaigned for the year before. We worked hard. I had a fantastic team though. Duncan, oh my god, Duncan's amazing. Ollie, I mean, people who even later came and joined the campaign to support me. And obviously then the standing councillors already, Richard and Adele, were very useful as well. I mean,
I think I've met.
You probably met Richard and
I've met Richard a few times.
They're everywhere. They're so hard working. So that made a massive difference. I mean, when you have a good team, it makes a big difference.
Yeah, absolutely.
But also, the people of Caversham, I just love them. Like, I love Caversham. It's a place I like to hang out. And I just like chatting to the people of Caversham to represent them. It's
just like chatting.
I just like chatting. So, I mean, it's a great honour to represent them. It's crazy.
Yeah, I was just going to ask, I mean, what did you hope to achieve by becoming a councillor? Or better still, what does your position allow you to do for your constituents?
That's a good one. I mean, being a councillor is just a really fantastic way to represent and be the voice of people in your community. So I really love door knocking and just speaking to people and earning their shared confidence. You know, when they trust you and they tell you the things that really are important in their lives that they need your help with and support with. And that's important to me, that I hear what they have to say and then I act on it. So what can I do in my gift as a counsellor? So things like that was when Anne-Marie, one of the lovely people, actually runs a business in Caversham, came to me, she emailed me saying, I want to do this thing. And I was like, great, let's have a meeting. And we had a meeting that same week and we started Plastic Free Caversham. And that was one of the first things I started as a counsellor, actually. I think in the very first 4 to 5 months. And now it's just taken up life its own. Where fantastic steering group of fantastic, amazing local people who put their heart and soul into what we do.
I can see your passion.
Like Rachel, I mean, we're doing a Elizabeth coming up, and like Rachel Barker's like run there, like she's got to local business, said how can you give gifts and things to really get people to care about coming. And you know, I work with like people of Honey and Henley who were like, let's help you, you know, seed wildflowers. Like there's just so many people in the community, and I guess I see myself as someone who brings them together to get the job done and get something really beautiful delivered and to improve the area, be it the environment or sustainability or even reducing plastic, like whatever it is that we're working together. Like I just love that we just all do it together and I can be the conduit for that greatness.
That's good to know.
I get very excited.
It's good to know. I can see your passion.
What can I say?
I can see your passion.
And I haven't even had dinner yet. But you promised me dinner.
I did promise you dinner, yes.
I'm going to do that.
You dinner. Okay. My perception, and please correct me if I'm wrong, is that there's a general negative perception of politics and politicians.
Absolutely.
Especially the constant bickering across parties and indeed within different factions in the same party, and the Labour Party is not immune.
No.
So how then do you garner members or new voters for the next election?
Honestly,
with such negativity swirling around?
Ditch the negativity. You'll never see me run a negative campaign. You'll never see me speak badly about any single candidate, be it in my party, against my party. It's just not what I do. I don't think that has to be politics.
Politics shouldn't be like that.
We are politics. If we get together and we organise for a campaign, either to save our post office or to protect, the local school or nursery, we are politicians. We are doing the work of like representing and acting on behalf of people for greater good. So I think we need to drill down and redefine politics. I think when I got into politics, I thought you had to be a certain way, be less effusive, be less open and kind and transparent. But all I want to do is be open, transparent and kind. And those are the very things that help me win in Caversham. And I think if we put at the pillar, the foundations of what we do, we can bring people back to politics. We can see that we're just people. I'm just a person like you. I go to work every day, and I also do my council role because I care about my community. And you care about your community. What can you do to serve it too? And how can we work together? And I think if we can just really align our goals cross-party for whatever we think is the most important issue of our time, and we drill down to really defining what the questions and the issues that we should be solving are, we should work together to solve them.
Like putting your country and your citizens before
everything else.
Yourself.
Absolutely.
People my dad was a politician, and he always used to say that we are opponents, we're not enemies. You may have different views. And I may have different views. But at the end of the day, we're working towards a common goal, and that is for our country and for the citizens. And that's how it should be. But
exactly. We share one planet.
At the moment,
we should work together. But we can do. I think if we get more people in it, and those who may be put off by the current state of affairs, please don't be put off by the current state of affairs. I need you to join me and be radical and crazy and hyper and, you know, really passionate. I need more people like me so I don't feel like the only crazy energetic one, you know?
Let's gather all the middle children.
Yes, all the middle children, all the central people unite. We will make the country better.
Okay, so another difficult one, the black vote. I know this is a problem not only in the UK, but also across the pond, like in the US.
Yes.
There's constant talk about the black vote.
Yeah.
What strategies can we employ to get our community to the polls? Because we're not there, are we?
Well, I think political groups need to actually put us at the centre of their policy making. And I think to do that, you need to have black people, black Asian minority groups in the think tanks, in the groups where these decisions are being made. But also, that's it's a two-prong issue, right? It isn't just the politicians reaching out. We've got to reach back out to them. We can't say that we are not recognised and we are not listened to when we sit at home and we don't get involved and reach out to help our community. If you see that there's lack of role models in the local school, well, why didn't you give an hour of your time to go in and do a lunchtime talk and uplift your community? We can't ask without doing. But we also need to be focused on. We need to be made a priority. You need to understand, if the black vote abstains from politics, some parties particularly will do very badly. Yeah. We can use the American example, the Democratic Party, that relies wholeheartedly on the black vote, really, and the immigrant vote and the minority group vote. But often it doesn't make policy that deals with the particular issues that are important to them. And that's why you see movements and people gaining attention in movements away from those parties. So we need to understand the issues that pertain to those groups. We need to do think tanks, we need to reach out, we need to actually get into the community groups and talk to the community leaders, the people that are important to those groups of people, to better understand their needs. But black people, come on. We really need to get our act together. We need to get involved. This is me telling you, get involved.
We do.
Can't ask for things if you don't do anything.
Yeah, we can't sit at home and complain that we're not being listened to, that this and that is not being done for us when we're not there. We have to make ourselves visible too.
Absolutely.
Okay, so your views on the EU, Brexit and Britain's withdrawal.
You don't mince your questions, do you?
No, I don't.
Forgot that. No, let's do politics my way, transparent and honest. I voted Remain. I'm a Remainer. But at the end of the day, the people voted, and I believe in democracy. I do believe in democracy. I think we need to do what people want. I just think we need to look at it and understand the implications. I think when we make a change, I think it should have been a slow process. We should have looked at what it would mean for our policy and for the different areas of our communities, for farming, for fisheries, for biodiversity. These things are so detailed, and we know that policy making doesn't happen overnight.
No, absolutely not.
It shouldn't have been a rash decision, and I think there should have been more foresight, really. But I mean, it's easy to say that. And that's why I don't criticise people unless I know that if I was in that exact position, what would I do?
Exactly.
In that exact position, if I was David Cameron at that point, I would have gone back to the EU and given them a piece of my mind, because I think they did not respect him as our Prime Minister. And I'm a Labour politician, and was a Conservative Prime Minister. But I don't think that anyone who represents this great country, that I'm so proud to be a citizen and call this my home, you shouldn't be disrespect our leadership. And I think they disrespected our leadership and us as a country, and that's what brought us here today. I think we need to understand the crux of the issue. But we're here. This is
and
it.
we have to deal with
And we have to deal with the issues today. And I think our government, hopefully they will find the right solutions and we'll get to a better place. All I want is a better solution for all of us.
Yeah.
I don't particularly want
That's
my
all we
government to
want.
fail. I want them to do really well, because, we live here.
we live here. It's going to affect all of us. And which politician, current or past, do you admire or aspire to be like?
Oh, that's a tough one. This is really weird. I'm not going to pick a British politician. I'm going to pick my uncle.
Oh, okay. Tell me why.
Barrenby. Because I think he's a kingmaker. He's someone who really understands what a country needs.
My most admired politician It's got to be Barack Obama.
Yes.
I am completely
Why? Because it's hot.
swayed.
Is it because it's hot?
No.
Because it's
But
hot.
what did I write? What was my answer? But
Because
his
he's well
intelligence, his humility,
I'm joking.
and and level-headedness.
Yes, he's very good at that.
And not to mention that he's the most sexiest man alive.
I'm glad it's on there. Well fit.
He is well fit.
If you're ever single.
He is well fit. You can't say
Cut
that.
that out.
Okay, so were you to find yourself,
Yes.
say, the Chancellor in the next Labour government, what economic policies would you implement?
Oh, I've
And
never
for
thought
what?
about that. If I was Chancellor in the next Labour government, what economic policies would I implement? I think I would implement policies that would pertain to better education. So I would want, basically, I don't think we can, the way we have education at the moment, the high school fees, the excessive loans that are being sold off, and people have basically paying off interest for huge amounts of their life, is sustainable. I think we need to put education back on the agenda as a priority, and I think we need to make that an economic focus because it's going to cost money. And why is it important to put education as an economic priority? Because we need to have a society of people who can actually solve the issues of the day. And I think the issues of the day are going to need scientists, technologists, engineers, great minds, and they need a great education.
Absolutely.
And we need an education that's invested in and really well thought out. It needs to be radical. Now, I'm not saying I know exactly what that education should look like. I'm not an educationist by any stretch of the imagination. But I think we need the right minds in the right rooms thinking about it, embracing that and distilling that. And we need the government that puts the money behind that from day one to make sure that everyone can reach their zenith potential. So that's not just the everyday Joe. I think education should be throughout your life, not just going to school. So when you also, let's say you've got a university degree and you're working, I want an education that carries on, but it's not like you're getting in debt for it either. And I think an education that equalizes. I think education is a great equalizer. It's the one thing that can change people's lifespans. Even their health outcomes are affected by education. We've seen all these things. I think it's really critical that we make that a priority. And I definitely think it needs to be more focused on the STEM area because I think the environment's the priority, and I think it's engineers. Like myself and people in the STEM field that will help us solve the problems. So we need to really, put the economic means behind that to fast track that education so that we don't have to wait 10 years 20 years to have that pipeline improve, but we need to have a radical transformation of the education pipeline so we have people to solve the big issues of the day, like the UN Sustainable Development Goals, like water shortages, like climate change.
Would you like to tell Boris Johnson?
Boris, I know it's a hard job, I'm not going to deny that. Being PM, that's tough, but education needs to be a priority. STEM education needs to be a priority.
Invest.
Please invest in it. But it's going to cost us. So we need to look at it. Have the best minds looking at it. Make sure your team is goddamn good and competent. Competence is key, Boris. Just saying.
Absolutely. Right. It is Black History Month. Can I ask you about your thoughts on the cold-blooded murder of George Floyd and those before and after him?
Devastating, heartbreaking, but I don't think this is a shock to us. I think this is a time where we can sit, and lockdown has given us time to reflect and say, we've been disrespected. Our people have been hurt, killed, butchered, and it's time that we act. And I've been impressed by the strength of the community coming together to campaign. Yeah.
And the protests.
The protests.
Yeah.
But
we were
the
both at the same
I
protest
know.
in Forbury Gardens, yeah.
To come together to actually create tangible actions. But it's more than that. It's the stuff that's come after that. Because protesting is good, but we need long-term change. And it's people who are looking at, so one of the things we did, I did a fantastic Instagram live with Gina, a fantastic wig maker and businesswoman in Reading. And we talked about how to be a councillor, how to be a magistrate, so that we can start getting more representation where decisions are made. More than that. Working with Joshua Academy, another fantastic, led by Sylvia Stevenson, black, fantastic entrepreneur, businesswoman, radical individual who's going to coach our black people to say, you can be everything and more. Let's get rid of those stereotypes.
I'll have to check them out.
Brilliant. So I think the campaigning, the protesting was brilliant, but it's the work that people are doing behind the back It blows my mind. And I think this is where we're going to get real change. I think if we keep this up, we keep the momentum, we infiltrate all the organisations.
Yeah, I was just going to ask, how do we keep the momentum going?
Infiltration.
Infiltration. And does the mass global protests, does it indicate a turning point, do you think?
I don't think we can go back to the way we were.
No.
I think the anger is undeniable. People are done.
Yeah.
I remember hearing the news and just, I was so angry. And the kind of angry that gets you to tears, but then gets you to rage and gets you to action. And I think that's where we are as a society. And I think it's where we need to be. I think we need to actually lean into that feeling. Because I think sometimes feelings are really good motivators. So let's use this to drive us forward to tangible change. And we see that society, in some ways, has been slipping a little bit to the right. You know,
I'm not
problematic movements.
Yeah, I'm not usually a public speaker, but even I was so outraged. I was enraged to the point where I was, had a microphone in my hand and giving a speech here and there, and I don't normally do that.
Yeah, you are opening yourself up. But that's what's happening. People are opening themselves up to share their stories. That's the one thing I found at that protest that we both attended. Was when people were saying their stories of blackness and the incidents that occurred. And I was shocked, to be fair, because sometimes I think we only often speak about our own experiences, our own little silo, and then when you realise it's a bigger issue.
It's a bigger issue. It's happening to
everyone.
That's
how we can work together and change it. And I think that's what we're going to do. And we are going to change it. I think the world's going to be a damn sight better for it.
It better be. It better be. At least for the next generation.
It will be.
Come.
It will be. Get that out there. It will be better.
Okay, so what are your future political aspirations? And what government position would you want to hold should there be a Labour Party government?
Oh wow. What are my future political aspirations? I aspire to have a position where I have the skills, knowledge, experience and competence to deliver the best way I can for the people that I represent. And whatever role that is, I will do it to the best of my ability.
Answer the true politician.
That's the truth. That's the truth. I've never aspired to a particular role, apart from, when you're a teenager, you're like, I'm going to be Prime Minister, and I'm going to change the world because I know everything. Till when I realised I don't know everything. I have a lot to learn, and I think that's a very important thing that we need to have more in politics. And, everyone should say, I'm competent and an expert in this, I'm not on this, let's get expertise in. Let's work together to make a better decision. And I think I want to see a government that puts making good decisions at the heart of it and competent decisions. So that's why I put that as a role that I'm competent, I have the skills, the knowledge, the experience, and I will drive to deliver for the people in it to 100% of my ability. In fact, 120%.
120.
Let's forget the maths. Maths doesn't matter here.
Okay, so any final words to especially young people?
Ooh, that's a talk.
How can you encourage them to get involved in politics?
Young people. There are no limitations on where you can go or what you can do. You decide your trajectory. The world needs you to make a change. The world is at a breaking point, brink of change. It feels like chaos and it feels scary and you're like, why am I here at this time? But you're here for such a time as this. I want you to do some work. Pick up a piece of paper, write down every skill that you have, every talent that you have. Map out the issues in the world that you feel are so pertinent to you that you want to change. And then start taking action to change it. Little by little. And tomorrow will be better than today because of what you've done. Thank you, and that's what you need to do. Come on, get that paper out.
She is young, she is gifted, she is black. Councillor Ayo Sokale. Black History Month, it has been an absolute pleasure to have you on the couch.
Thank you. I like your couch.
It's very comfortable.
It's very comfortable, I'm stealing it.
And thank you for tuning in, and I will see you next time with more women in politics. Until then, bye. Wow!
Am I the most craziest person you've
Yes, I think so.